Hey guys, how's it going? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about why I chose music over other types of art, especially over film, which is where my background actually is. I spent the majority of my childhood into my early 20s doing film. You know, I started on YouTube and then I went to school for film and then worked in film for a little bit. I really enjoyed it. Ultimately, I think I got a little bit burned out, but also something I realized about film is it's really hard to do it alone. You can do it alone, and if you're somebody a bit more talented than me, you don't really need anybody else. You can kind of thrive in the sort of loneliness of it, you know, having complete control over everything. But for the type of stuff that I like to make, I typically needed at least one other person. When you're a kid, it's a little bit easier to have a friend come over and hold the camera for you or read some lines or whatever. But as the years go on, it gets more and more difficult. A lot of my friend group ultimately ended up getting degrees in film and working in film. It kind of gets to a point where it's like, I got to start paying these people because they're not just kids and we're not just messing around anymore. We're doing something real at this point. So it kind of makes you think about what you want to make and what's worth making. And I sort of got into this mindset of like, what's even worth their time? What's worth my time? So ultimately film didn't really work out for me because I'm somebody that I tend to kind of like to work alone. When I have an idea, I like to run with it. I'm not necessarily impatient, but when I have an idea, I want to get it out there as soon as possible, as I guess you've probably seen on this channel a few times with some various things where I say, oh, it'll be done by this day, because in my head it makes sense it'll be done by that day. And then that day comes and I'm like, oh, that's just not happening. It's just not possible. My whole point is the reason why I ended up switching over to music is because when I was doing music as a hobby, I never really had to think about anyone else when I was doing it. It was just, all right, what do I want to do? What do I want this to sound like? Well, I like this kind of music, so I want to do it this way, you know, that kind of stuff. There was less of a collaborative effort that needed to be put into it. That's not to say that collaborating with another person is bad. It's just, like I said, when I had an idea, I wanted to do it as soon as possible. So that was a big reason why I kind of switched over to music. A mix of being burnt out, a mix of kind of feeling like I didn't really want to waste anybody else's time with my sort of half-assed ideas for videos or skits or whatever. I just sort of wanted to do things my way. And so with music, that's pretty much what I did. Now, of course, I don't really think there is any art that can be 100% solo work. I mean, I think a lot of people will do something completely solo, but you come to realize that it is a lot easier when you have another person helping you. And it's not just easier, but it also helps you learn and get different perspectives on things. So that's kind of how it was for me. I mean, I did music by myself as long as I possibly could, and for the most part I still do, but there's definitely moments where I will talk to somebody. You know, when I was working with that producer, he was a really great resource. I learned a lot working with him. Even just like some of my other friends that are still in film that don't necessarily do music, but they listen to music and they understand the sort of artistic journey of things, and so they know I can't necessarily do this alone. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say today, guys. I was just thinking about that and how my sort of switch to music, I did it because I started to like it more than film, which is true, but I think a big part of it was that I just wanted something that I could do by myself for the most part, you know? All right, it's hot as hell out here today, so I'm gonna go inside and go edit this video. I'll see you guys soon. Don't forget, my album's coming out in 2 weeks, 1 week. By the time you're watching this, pre-save should be available for that. If it is, I'll put a link in the description. If not, go ahead and just check out my single and follow me from there. Cool. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.